Welcome to Workshop Topics, Tumbler polishers, which is the best media to use. This is part 1. A few years ago I bought a tumbler polisher and some fine walnut shell type media that I used to polish the parts, but it totally blocked any holes in the components. It is time to experiment and find a solution to the problem. Recently I received some parts from a company called Cleveland Steam, and the polishing standard of the parts was exceptional, and they weren't made in China, they were made in the UK. First of all, in case you haven't seen my other videos about this tumbler polisher, I'll show you the machine. It's a very simple gadget and quite clever. A seal drum sits on top of some rollers that rotate and spin it around. Not only can you change the speed, you can make it stop and go the other way in between cycles. If I remember when I bought this machine, I think it cost about £130, which for the quality of it I didn't think was too bad. You can buy replacement drums for these machines and they really are okay. Apart from the drive belt, and I really do not know what the manufacturer was thinking. 2 came with the machine and 2 broke within a couple of days. Simple fix, I changed it for a silicone O-ring. And this has given good service so far. It's a lot smoother too. The other one was a bit rough, to say the least. I filmed this footage yesterday. I went up to the main workshop and brought the tumbler polisher from there into my kitchen workshop, which is actually warm. I filmed this sequence when I first bought the machine, and in the background you can see the media I was using. Lyman Easy Pour Turbo Tumbler media. And also slightly different type, which is Lyman Turbo Tumbler Media Tough Nut Plus. And as the name suggests, these are walnut shell based products, or at least as far as I know, and they do the job. They clean up the parts quite well, but I wouldn't say they particularly polish them. As I've just mentioned, the brass parts that I received from Cleveland Steam were very highly polished. After the holidays, I'll give Jerry at Cleveland Steam a ring and ask him what he uses. In case you're wondering about the wine bottles, this was during the Christmas period on my kitchen table. This is what happened when I used the Lyman product. This is one of 2 sight glasses from hydrostatic lubricators, which are a type of displacement lubricator. And after the polishing process, they were full of the media. I've decided to use the steel balls that came with the machine. Plenty of them, and I don't know how well they're going to work, so here goes. I've put a selection of random pieces of brass and copper in there. I've turned on the machine, and all I need to do now is wait and see how long it takes before the parts become clean and shiny. And it takes quite a while. I initially started off the machine on the slowest speed, and it's in the reciprocating mode where it goes forwards and backwards, with a slight pause in between the cycles. First of all I tried speed number 1, then I changed it to speed number 2, and then went back to 1. I'm not sure which is the best to use. I need to do a bit of bedtime reading about this. I like to figure things out for myself. I do not always reach for YouTube or Google, but in this case I think maybe I should do. While the machine is running, I'm showing you the previous media that I used, and as you can see the particles are very fine, whereas the steel balls are a good bit bigger. These are ordinary steel balls, not stainless steel ones. I bought this bag of white stuff via eBay round about the time that I bought the tumbler, and it arrived in a plain brown paper packing, and I wasn't sure what it was when I bought it. It wasn't very expensive, so I doubt if it's heroin or cocaine. And the package didn't include any instructions, just a triple packed bag, but finally when I got through to it I could read the label. I've already complained about the original belt, which was a diabolical thing. This, on the other hand, is a large silicone rubber piston ring from a model steam engine. After about an hour of tumbling, I stopped the machine and removed the parts, and yes, they did look slightly better, although not as good as I would have liked them to be. Here's a close-up of the label on the white stuff. It's called Welded Bliss Battle Bright P6 Battling Compound, whatever that means. Here are the parts that I've cleaned already, and they are a little bit cleaner than they started off being, but nowhere near the standard that I want them to be. I don't normally cut corners, but here I'm cutting the corner of the packaging, and I've tipped out some of this battling compound into a plastic container. No instructions. How much do I put in? I know I'll put plenty in and see what happens. Do you use this wet or do you use it dry? What's the ratio of water to the compound itself? I will find this out later, but first I'm going to try it dry. By the way, on the packaging is a warning. It's hazardous and corrosive, so I don't know what this stuff is, which worries me a bit. With plenty of battling compound sat on top of the steel balls, I replace the brass parts inside the cylinder and seal it with the door. This time I ran the tumbler for quite a long time. I turned on the TV and watched a film. And I shut the door so I couldn't hear this annoying rattling all the time. I am aware that there are other kinds of polishers, namely the vibratory type, and they appear to use a pyramid-shaped media. From an irritability point of view, I prefer the sound of this to the sound of these vibratory type polishers. After a while, I stopped the tumbler to have a look what was going on, and the media was stuck to every possible part inside the drum, the steel balls, the parts I was cleaning, and the internal surface of the drum. Then the penny dropped. This stuff is supposed to be used mixed with water. What's the ratio? I don't know. So I had a look on YouTube. 1 hour later, I stopped the machine to see how things were progressing. And once I washed the parts in water, I could see that there was an improvement. This old Stuart S50 displacement lubricator is definitely shinier than it was when it went in. I systematically washed all the parts in a plastic tub on the bench, but one part in particular was thoroughly blocked by the media. Luckily, it was easy to poke out using a screwdriver, but the density of the battling compound in the hole led me to believe that this needs to be a liquid process. It's also obvious that I use far too much battling compound relative to the size of the tumbler barrel and the amount of balls in there. I thoroughly washed the steel balls by putting them in a sieve like this and running it under the tap. Then once the plastic tub was dry, I tipped the balls into it, so I've got somewhere to keep them. I will be doing another test with this tumbler using this battling compound in the right proportions to the water. But that's it for now. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.